was, which street? Oh, I've shot radar out on Pathfinder for the last 8 years, so. Just a little bit about myself. I worked for the Highway Patrol about 12 years. I did 2.5 years in South LA. I did 2 years up in the rural farms of Central California, got bored, so I came back down to San Diego Springs. So I wanted to work the busiest office in the state. So yeah, I have shot radar and LiDAR out on Pathfinder. I'm very familiar with the high speeds. So I will be out here on occasion myself, but you'll probably see a little bit more of Officer Brian Kevin O'Toole, our motor officer, his brothers, and Officer Gonzalez. I'm actually trying to talk my captain into getting one extra person on our cops team so we can have a little more focused enforcement. Yes, sir.
Is there any rumor that, or any truth to the rumor that you guys are contemplating drone intervention?
That we're planning drone intervention?
Yes.
No, there's no truth to that. I know some of our younger officers would probably be excited that if they could get paid what we do to operate drones for traffic enforcement. All joking aside, I know that that has been mentioned, not too seriously, but in the years to come, and I'm talking like decades from now, there may be something like first surveillance, but I don't think you're going to see any type of enforcement from a drone. I think there are a few other law enforcement agencies who may be using them for like SWAT purposes, but I don't think you're going to see the Highway Patrol using drones anytime soon.
Could I ask you, there was a shooting, my friend wants me to ask her that, on Greenport this past week, or maybe the week before that. Would you know anything about that?
No, there's a shooting.
Yeah,
Was it
quite a few
officer-involved
shots.
shooting?
Quite a few shots were fired.
Was it an officer-involved shooting?
Was
The
it
Highway,
not an
Highway
officer?
Patrol wasn't involved in any shooting. If there was, it was either the sheriff's department, I would assume, or
How do we
just
find that out?
resident versus resident. So I think the appropriate person asked that would be Deputy Gonzalez.
Okay, but he's not here, right?
Yeah, but I don't have that information.
Okay.
Sure. And if I did, I would defer that to him anyway, because that would be his area to speak to.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I mentioned to you the traffic at
Killian Elementary School, right?
Yes, yes, the traffic at Killian Elementary School. It's horrendous. It's really bad. You have people throwing U-turns, people going into other people's driveways. It's really bad.
Does it go on in the morning and afternoon, or just one or the other?
In the morning, you have people going into the staff parking, dropping off their kids there, where there's a big sign that says not to do that, and it says staff parking. And you have people that go in there and come out on the other side and get in front of the line. You know, here you are waiting in line to get into the school. And it's not just one car, I mean, there's several.
Okay.
I don't know, because he darted out of his car and ran right across it. There used to be, it's about 6:45 in the morning, about closer to 7.
So 6:45 to 7 in the morning?
Yeah,
And you said it's more like students?
it's both.
Students and parents? Okay.
I want to ask you the question. For Killian, and I need more information. I'm representing the school district that will bring the issue to the transportation. Let's talk to you and personally and get more information from them.
Perfect. And let's all exchange business cards. I want to talk to you later, sir. Get my information as well. I'll talk to you so we can come up with a plan. Yeah, generally we have, when our motor officers come out, they'll come out in a pair if they can. They're available to do that enforcement.
My question is, are all the red light cameras removed in Roland High areas?
Are the red light cameras being removed? That would be a question for the county, because the Highway Patrol does not operate the red light cameras. I think a lot of different cities and county areas are removing them. I know LA City, I believe, has removed them, so it may depend on the contractor or vendor for that red light camera.
Do you know anything by the chance that up on was it Balin and Breaking cutoff right there? There was on November 28th. It was closed off by 2 sheriff car, and then the helicopter was going around the area.
I don't know. If
Not
some-
your area.
yeah, no. If something happened involving the sheriff's department, the appropriate person to ask.
Good evening, it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Supervisor Han. I'd like to start by sharing some of the things that the supervisor has been up to recently. So last month, she participated in the Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Grand Park with her grandchildren. And this was a tradition that her father, longtime county supervisor Kenneth Han, started and did it with his grandchildren. So she's happy she was able to continue that tradition with her grandkids. Also last month, the Board of Supervisors voted to have restrooms put into the homeless encampments in LA County riverbeds. So this was done in order to combat the spread of Hep A, which you may have been hearing a lot about in the news. And Supervisor Han continues to look for ways to support the homeless community and help address their needs. Also last month, the Board of Supervisors unanimously adopted a motion to require that massage parlors be routinely inspected. And this is something that public health will go out and do. And in addition to routinely checking for health standards, they will also be trained to identify signs of human trafficking. And human trafficking is something that has been known to happen or can happen at massage parlors. So Supervisor Han hopes that the annual inspections will help to not only identify human trafficking, but to help deter it. And her concern is workers that are forced into labor, forced to work long hours, and it also, in addition, it's also not a victimless crime. So, as far as some announcements that are more specific to Rowland Heights, the Rowland Heights Library, as you know, has been under construction. The parking lot, last time I came, that was something that is being worked on. They continue to work on that. They anticipate that the Rowland Heights Library will be complete towards the end of January, and a grand opening date is scheduled for early February. And when we have that invitation flyer, I will share it. And Supervisor Han will be sponsoring an event in the community called Here Comes Santa, which many of you might be familiar with because it's an event that happens each year. So she will be sponsoring it along with County Parks and Recreation. And it's Thursday at Rowland Heights Park from 6 to 8 p.m. And families can go. There will be snow and the Santa there and some giveaways, so we invite you to go out. And lastly, just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and happy, healthy holiday season. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to address.
One item is, what's the status on the cleanup of the Desire Mosquito Trench?
Thank you. So James from Public Works is here. He can maybe add on to anything, but the update that we had is that Public Works had told us that it's private, the trenches are private, and it shouldn't impact if there were to be any flooding, anything like that. So just wanted to let you know. And I know you also had a question about the equestrian tunnel over on Kalima. It's a County Parks trail. So that's something that we know is an issue with homeless going in and there being graffiti. So that's something that we want to address. So we're planning to meet with sheriffs as well as parks on site. And we discussed with them also doing something to mitigate it by addressing the gate access. So that's something that we can look at. And they did go out and clean it the week of the 28th, November 28th. So that's the update on the tunnel.
Okay, and just one more item on the massage parlor that is at the Stater Brothers shopping center there at Colima and Brea Canyon Cutoff. I'm going to ask you to suspend.
Parlor was looking for a business license or a CUP over right behind the, I call it the batting cage for golf balls. How did Janice vote on that? Because went up supposedly before the board. I mean, I hear her doing all these nice things, but when it gets down to a vote, how does she stand?
Voting on the massage parlors or voting on?
All of those.
So she was the one who brought in the motion for the annual inspections of the massage parlors.
But this other issue was before her, before that. And they're looking for a business license. And I guess the real question is, how many massage parlors does Rolling Heights need? And there's a little bit more to it than that. You gotta ask, are they paying their fair share of the, say, their income tax? I don't think they are. I mean, it's an allegation, unfounded, of course. Are they paying their sales tax? I don't know. And nobody else does either. And there's a whole kind of a slew of issues that go along with this that the county's not addressing yet. They're just picking away at it when we come up and we raise an issue. But the question is, how did Janice vote on this CUP issue for this massage parlor? If she allows that one, will she allow the rest of them? That's my question.
Okay, we can look into the concern about the massage parlor CUP and we'll get back to you.
Lauren, I have a question. The building that's being constructed at Colima and Jellic, originally had heard that it was going to be a gas station with a food market, but it's starting to look two-story, a pretty big building going in there. I'm wondering if anybody's reviewed the parking to make sure there's adequate parking. And that was already a shopping center, originally a market there, and a bunch of other shops, and whether there's enough parking for all this new construction that's going on.
Thanks for that. You know, I had heard originally about the gas station, but then I heard recently that it wasn't going to be a gas station. So we can find out and see what it is. Is there, so you're looking to find out whether or not
I'd like somebody to check to make sure that it really is enough parking there, because that looks like an awful big structure that's going up. It didn't require a conditional use permit, so we didn't get any information on it. It's much bigger than what I originally been told it was going to be.
okay, thanks. We can look into that as well to give it to you.
Any question back there?
Hello. I'm moving to mobile home only 2 months ago, but I find that the mobile home rules very big problem. You need to check. There's a way customer survey to owner, owner survey me. You can check a mobile home rule. It's very problem. Like the North Korea rule, North Korea rule. You need to check. Okay? Sure. Yeah. You check everything inside. I have book. That's not true. This is America, not North Korea. Okay? So you want to check. Somebody told me, what's your name? What's your name?
Lauren.
Lauren, yeah. So Lauren, I believe you, okay? You check, okay, what kind of rule. That's every mobile home rule, he told me every rule not the same. But only 1441 pass real avenue, this mobile home rule, very problem, big problem, okay?
Okay, I'll give you my card afterward, and then if you can email me, then.
Okay, you have card? Okay, give me card.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
While we have Lauren up here, she didn't make it as part of her.
Ted.
I'll make an announcement here. That they're going to do another homeless count in January, Tuesday, January 23rd, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And we're based out of the community center here. I think there were some people from the community last year that volunteered to help on that, so we want to make that announcement. Anyone that's interested in helping with that, I'm sure they could contact your office on that.
Awesome.
January 23rd, 7 to 11 p.m. It'll be based out of the community center here. You know anything more about that than this?
That's what I had heard as well, so thanks. Yeah, they can contact us or LASA, that's coordinating.
And then,
Lauren.
last thing while Lauren is here,
Yeah.
want to let everybody know, you remember last year we were seeking contributions for the Big Yellow Bus program to take Roland Unified kids to the educational program at the fair. And to announce that the supervisor donated $5,000 to go towards that program. We received that check a week and a half or so ago. So I want to thank Supervisor Hahn for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Pepper.
Ken,
Very similar.
I got you an update. That's Winnie Coe's project at the corner of Jellic and Colima. And my last field intervention there was it's an L-shaped type 2-story shopping facility, and they're going to use the parking that's there. Plus, when they get through breaking it out, they'll have a little local parking downstairs there. And of course, the parking is within the our CSD because we got our Lauren's looking out for us there, making sure it's right. And they'd have to do a CUP if they wanted to get an adjustment on that anyway. But they also had that over on Otterbein and Colima that decreased from 34 to 28 parking spaces on that. Do we know anything about that?
The shopping center on Otterbein.
Otterbein and Colima, they want to put a...
Northeast corner, 7-Eleven was wanting to go in there. There's not enough parking. I don't think anything's further's happened on that.
Not that I know of.
They had that down to where there was going to be one space short, but they couldn't figure out how they could get that additional space, as far as I know. Any more questions for Lauren?
It's not a question, I just want to thank you because I'm calling you regarding the traffic on Fairway, on Freeway, and how people were just going through the cones and people were fighting and all that. And I called you about it, and you did take care of it because they did end up putting those concrete barricades, so it eliminated all that mess, people going around the cones, getting in front of everybody, and the traffic honking and all. So thank you.
That's right, with the freeway you're talking about, yeah, that was a problem for quite a while.
Good, I'm glad. Thanks for contacting us. We just sent it over to ACE, and I know that they're happy to address any traffic concerns, but thank you.
Okay, last chance, any more questions for Lauren? Thank you, Lauren.
Toledo College. Lauren was talking about homeless. Do you think we have homeless on the college campus?
Nah.
They're sleeping in their cars. We're giving them food vouchers, and they can use the showers in the gymnasium by law. But we don't know all the homeless people there. Naturally, they have to come forth and share that information with us. We were talking about history, something going on with history. A little bit of history. When was the first class in Vermont San Antonio College? 1946, right? 1946, 622 students, but who's counting? How did we get the property? How'd you get the property here for Roland Heights? 1842. Mexico gave 48,000 acres to the Roland and Workman family.
Wow.
And that has all been broken up now into different areas, Puente and Walnut, naturally. And then Mount Sac got 422 of those acres, and we're still moving dirt at Mount Sac, which brings me up to date regarding the stadium. We started moving dirt 3 weeks ago, not with the support of the city of Walnut. We're still trying to work things out with them. But the dirt's been moved in the grading arena, and next week we're going to start moving several thousand cubic yards to the city of Chino. And all that is required because of the new stadium. Remember I said we have the 2020 Olympic trials, track and field. Well, this new stadium's supposed to be done in July of 2019. Not in time for our football team to play there. They're still going to have to play for one more year at the Covina field on Puente Avenue in Covina. And the El Camino College will still house our Mount Sac relays, which has been there a couple of years now. But the stadium will be done, and on the 10th of June, 2020, we will start the Olympic trials for track and field, representing the entire nation to determine who's going to go to the actual Olympics. We anticipate between 18 and 20,000 people in the economy of the East San Gabriel Valley. Now, the city of Walnut wants to know, what is in it for us? We don't have shopping malls. We don't have hotels. We have very few restaurants. But the people that own those things live in Walnut. So somebody's going to make some money out of this. And it will bring recognition, naturally, to the East San Gabriel Valley, specifically Mount San Antonio College, but certainly to the city of Walnut. And our hopes are, at the college level, that 2024 will return to Mount Sac for the Olympic trials again. And even in 2028, I probably won't be here by then, I'm 80 now, but by 2028, maybe the city of Los Angeles would want the trials being out here to alleviate some of the traffic that would be occurring in Los Angeles during that period of time. Any questions about Mount San Antonio College?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Since we know the assistant to the president, will we have first dibs on tickets when those tickets come out?
See, my title is assistant, special assistant to the president, which means I windows, I vacuum, and a few other things. Yes, we'll probably work one out for you, Ted. But the ticket sales should actually, if everything goes well, by June of next year, we're going to start selling tickets. We're right now in the planning stages of a committee. Do any of you remember the name Bob Seagren? He was a gold Olympic. He's the head of this committee at the college. Very nice guy. Did pole vault. And we had a meeting last Monday, a week ago, and he's got some high rollers on this committee. People from Nike and AEG, London, and various organizers of athletic events. And their big concern was whether we were going to be starting construction on that stadium, because it's got to be a done deal if we're making all these plans. Well, now we're in the planning stages of an RFP to determine who's going to be the vendor, who's going to sell tickets, who's going to do the marketing, because the college isn't qualified to do that. They could do it for the relays, but that's peanuts compared to Olympic trials. So we're already making plans and anticipate that if any of you have friends or people that know the business of marketing and so forth, you check our college website, because they can certainly submit a proposal. We're going to need all the help we can get. And those are paid positions, by the way. And certainly they'll be taking volunteers too, Ted. If you want to shoot the gun on some of the track stuff, we can do that too. Okay? And I would like to reiterate a little bit on the chipping. You know, I have 35 years background with the Sheriff's Department, and I've worked industry for 25 years. When Walnut wasn't even a city yet, as we know it today, in Roland Heights, we used to chase horses on some of the streets up here. And La Puente, same thing. But the difference is Highway Patrol has traffic enforcement in the county area. The Sheriff's Department in that same area has criminal enforcement. Now, when you get to any one of 51 cities out of the 88 in LA County, they contract from the Sheriff's Department for traffic and criminal enforcement. But that's not to prevent him from making an arrest if he's in violation of law, even though it's not traffic. He's still an officer under peace officer standards training in the state of California. And I digress greatly, I apologize. Any other questions? Yes?
How are people going to move from A to B? Are they all going to go down in Boulevard? I hope so. If they go any one of these streets.
For the Olympic trials? They'll be coming from all locations. Valley Boulevard, they'll be using Temple, Amar, coming in that way, coming from the 10 freeway over Grand Avenue. They'll be coming up the 57 freeway. And a lot of it's going to be packaging. We realize we don't have enough parking on the campus, even though there are no classes. Well, it'll be the main arteries. The smaller streets are not going to be affected. Keep in mind, it's 4 hours each day. Usually after the morning rush and before the evening rush. But the people will be staying in Los Angeles, all the way down to Long Beach, into Pomona, possibly San Bernardino, because there'll be package deals. Go to Disneyland, go to Universal, go to the Queen Mary, because they're coming from other states, not just California.
Okay, massage.
We've already had Foothill Transit and many other transit organizations submit bids. They want to be able to bring these people on buses rather than having them drive individual cars. They don't know where they are anyway, so they're going to have to rely on that.
Because Colima is a mess.
Oh, believe me, I know. You want to see a real mess? I went Friday night at 3 o'clock to the Mission Inn. Me and 3 million other people were down there looking at the lights, so it was very nice. Took me 2 hours. Coming home was 40 minutes, but yeah, we have a lot of traffic. 2 Saturdays ago, they had the groundbreaking for the Gold Line extension, built at Citrus College. They anticipate the 9,000 daily riders will go up to 18,000, and that's finished to Montclair. Takes a lot of vehicles off the street. Okay. Any other questions? John, in reference to the massage parlors, as I recall, when I was with City of Industry, unlike an ABC license, which they determined, the county determines, as well as ABC from the state level, how many locations are actually selling alcohol. That has a bearing on whether it's approved or not. I don't know about a massage parlor, both other activities that occur at those locations, whether that's governed the same way. But Lauren can either check that out, or if you check with Industry Station, they may be able to assist you on that. Or certainly your representative from the Sheriff's Department, not Industry Station, Walmart, excuse me. Anything else?
And since you brought it up there, just an addendum to our local massage parlor, there is the Asian pub right next door. Very convenient. Thank you.
No comment.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.